Hello everybody, I can't see the camera. I've changed the video here. I got a video from Rachael Notley. I'll keep the sound off. It's been literally one heck of a day between Donald Trump and the Democrats in House in the United States of America. And what's going on at the same time here today, if you blinked you would have missed it. Now this story is dated December 23rd. Updated 5 days ago, and it's day before Christmas Eve. Don Braid gets into this end of the year with Rachael Notley. And of course today there's a video for Rachael talking about a new deal. You can sign on her website. All Albertans, of course, not separatists, but conservatives can. And we're going to get to that video here. Just want you to look at the column by Don Braid. I'm catching up as per Rachael Notley's video. And she goes into what she wants to do across aisles here with Mr. One Jason Kenney. Now, as a separatist, I've talked lots about both of these individuals, Rachael Notley and Jason Kenney, how they are absolutely giving narratives that don't include a majority of Albertans. And we're seeing that right now. In this new proposal, a lot of media is jumping on board with it. Some kind of new deal between NDP and UCP going forward against everybody else. To be clear, what you're not all being told, unless you're into insurance, unless you're into car dealerships, or you're a public sector union, you're not in the Rachael Notley, Jason Kenney elite status. You're not part of their absolute elites. And that's who funds both of these parties. That's where they get, each gets a major part of their support, and also where they get their policy development. Contrary to what people believe, it's not ministers and everybody else drafting the bills. Most of it comes from their supporters, their insiders. And we saw that with radical legislation, both with her and with Jason Kenney, that mainstream Albertans would never come up with, let alone neither of these two individuals ever campaigned on any of the major radical policies they both brought forward in their terms of government. And that is solely because she is sponsored entirely by the government public sector unions, whereas Jason Kenney, insurance companies and car dealerships. That's a fact. Literally the used car salesman. And it's not a joke when you get into major policy, major rule of law, and neither of these guys and gal can get it right. They never get it right, they're never legal, and it's never professional. Alberta has never seen such a disaster in economics as Rachael Notley and Jason Kenney have rolled out just in this 4-year period. We were watching the crony capitalists, which is what led to this getting elected, which is just another version of another cronyism. Another special interest group funding and administering these people. Jason Kenney and Rachael Notley do not have a vast majority of Albertans' needs and what has to be done on their agenda. It is absolutely a very, very small selection of special interests. We're going to go into those numbers. These guys don't like to give you the full story. I see it's going into Aaron O'Toole here, so I'm going to flip the page here. Sorry, everybody. Get back to Don Braid. I don't know if the screen will go down. But, between these two, this is the most debt Alberta has ever taken on. Just in Rachael Notley's 4 years, and now it looks like to be doubled by Jason Kenney. Astronomical figures Alberta has never seen before. These two have absolutely no economic plan. Most Albertans are falling for both of these individuals, ready to flip-flop between Rachael and Jason. And neither is going to provide what the people of Alberta need, because they don't want to tell you the absolute truth in policy and platform about what absolutely has to be done. And that means taking on Ottawa. It means saying no. It's a time in Alberta's history, whether you're ready to take on sovereignty, independence. If you're not ready for that, at least take on challenging Ottawa. Because neither of these individuals, Jason Kenney and Rachael Notley, with their special interests, are ever going to challenge that authority that absolutely is robbing each and every one of you. That is a fact. We're watching America right now. Donald Trump on his way out today. People still don't want to accept it, and that's okay. I've taken a thrashing, the likes of which most people haven't. You know, Carol Scobie today shares me a link of an individual, an independent, an Italian fellow who's built quite a big following in the United States. And it goes right into exactly what's happening. Now, he takes it, well, Trump can't get the support. Well, you know what? He had the Senate support not to push that globalist socialist reset. So everybody knows, just like Canada, not as big of a deal with Donald Trump and Democrat Congress with League of Republican Congress. We're talking about House, not Senate. We're talking about the large House. The vast majority of them are going to vote unanimously to toss Donald Trump out on January 6th. That's reality. And he just tried to appease to that group, signed a bill that he absolutely cannot administer any executive control as president over any budgetary terms of anything to do with budgets. That is absolutely going to be 100% the power of Congress that has to be passed by Senate, which now Donald Trump has thrown it into Republican Senate right before their race. They have 2 Georgia races to hold on to Senate. I can tell you right now, those 2 incumbent Republican GOP senators running on January 5th absolutely need this bill to pass. And Senate's likely going to pass it because they know the detriment will be you are going to cough over not only a majority House Democrat, you will cough over a majority Senate for Democrat. That's what will happen. Why Donald Trump did this, why he just pardoned 3 individuals that were absolutely fraudulent, convicted, one did 2 years, all for election fraud, election tampering, all part of the deep state, all in that system with the FBI that he called out during his presidency. Miraculously, the President Donald Trump has just given them all a free pass. Why? We'll all never know. Why he signed a socialist reset bill? I guess it's about 25% equivalency of what we're doing here in Canada over the next 3 years. It still has a detriment to America with its gross debt to GDP ratio that they're going to add. It's amazing how we come full circle here after a tremendous 4 years of Trump. For Albertans looking at the disaster absolutely with Jason Kenney and Rachael Notley before that, a prime minister that is absolutely about devaluing all of you and destroying this country. And I promise you, COVID, no COVID, the direction we're going with our primary sectors, as Rachael Notley and Jason Kenney are now in talks about how they can merge a system that strengthens both the primary sector and the public sector. Newsflash, Albertans, and any of you who follow me, if they were going to do anything about it, it would have been done over the last 10 years plus since the slide. Since, in fact, we tossed out Ralph Klein in 2006. Since Harper and everything else, this province, this country has gone straight down the toilet. None of you noticed it at first. At first you said, it's no big deal. It's a small deficit. We're going to take on a small amount of debt this year. No big deal. Alberta can pay that off. $1.2 billion. 2.4. Next you know, we toss them out, get a new one in. Oh, it's 4.3. Oh, and Canada just going mad crazy. This whole time with Harper, mad crazy boring, mad crazy boring. Borrowing the likes of which Canada never ever saw before. On the scale of Justin Trudeau Sr., Harper even wiped that out. Just when you thought it couldn't be any worse and Canadians respond with, goodbye Harper, you're out. After 2 terms, get out. They elect none other than Justin Trudeau, who goes on a massive tear spending spree, the likes of which Canadians have never seen. He is going to absolutely double the entire debt, including his own in the last term, plus Harper's and everything Canada ever borrowed prior to that in 3 years. Jason Kenney here, Rachael, $44 billion. This guy is likely to hit $80 to $100 billion, depending. We don't even really know, because this guy doesn't really even know. And nobody is doing anything about it. People say this is all fine, it's wonderful, when we can look at world examples of third world countries who did exactly what these 2 premiers are doing, did do, and plan to merge together to fight independence parties, to fight talk of sovereignty or fighting back against the corruption of Canada. These 2, Rachael Notley and Jason Kenney, going to combine forces. We have our media supporting that. None other than Don Braid and the Calgary Herald, right down south. Like, we are really, everybody, at a real pivotal moment here of make it or break it. And these 2, Rachael Notley and Jason Kenney, are absolutely in bed with that agenda, which has no supports whatsoever for the primary sector. It has everything to do, just like Harper and Justin Trudeau, with turning over our national sovereignty to foreign interests, buying us away. Doesn't matter if that's overseas or just across the border. We are literally getting bought out, usurped, devalued, and for some reason, these politicians get away with it, and you all say that's fine and dandy, and don't worry about it, and likely there's a flip-flop right now between Rachael Notley and Jason Kenney, and movements coming up the middle. Alberta Party's coming back up. Independence is coming back up. If a unified front can be ready for 2023 with a viable path forward, a legal path, with real economics, real experts, a real constitution, with real professionals, maybe we can move enough masses like Wild Rose did, and not have any of the sellouts that will jump into bed with this garbage that is federal, that's provincial, that we watch over and over again. Something has to change here in absolutely the next 6 months. If it doesn't, there is no going back, and likely or we are going to be a third world country. We're borrowing massively more per person per capita than the United States is. Even with the radical rollout that Donald Trump signed off, many of you believe some 1974 legislation gives him some kind of authority, who's being replaced next week, who just signed an executive power over a House bill to pressure his House Senate to likely see Senate possibly lose a couple seats. Really, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the United States. I'll never know what's inside that circle inside Donald Trump right now today. But many people of mind, and who are involved in all this stuff really see it for what it is. The sad part is literally millions and millions of people across North America here seem to buy into this absolute bullshit. And they think that somehow some miracle's coming forward. There's no miracle. There's no Jesus from heaven coming down to interfere in the workings of man or whatever other crazy crap people believe. It doesn't work that way. It's up to man to make the decisions and make the will. And I don't like to slam religious people, but the narratives that I've seen in just the last few weeks and especially in the last few days radical, outrageous, and crazy. And going in Jesus' name, there is no testament of any Jesus that ever speaks of moving any kind of power and authority. You look at Rome, and I'm Roman Catholic, there's your history of what is. It was done out of love, and I promise you, it was not breaking the will by waiting for some glorious warrior to come down from heaven, move the skies and seas to save you. It was people embracing love and a new way of being. And we're going right back to a time of that kind of autocracy here and now, going forward into 2021, and it is absolutely scary. People will buy into guys like this, women like Rachael Notley, garbage like Justin Trudeau, and liars and thieves like O'Toole, Harper, and the rest of them. Jagmeet saying, it don't matter, pick one. Those mainstream scumbags, all of this debt, America just signed a bill, only with everything Trump did, 9% of it, and everyone's clapping, outrageous, 9% of it goes to the American people. A whopping 91%, over $2 trillion, is likely 70% of it to end up in the hands of absolute globalist players, a handful of the wealthiest people in the world. Amazon doubled their net value. The ex-wife who left him with her millions of shares just in the last 6 months, her value in shares alone went from $31 billion to over $64 billion. She gives out in all these charities and programs $6 billion. Oh, I feel bad. Oh, I'm giving back. The media celebrates her 10% of her commitment back to the people, when never in the history of Canada, USA, or the really democrat-free world have we seen such a drastic amount of debt accumulation by so many people who believe in civil, charter, and human rights take on such a whopping amount of debt, and so few at any time in American, Canadian, and a lot of the free world history have so many wealthy elites taken so much in wealth, in absolute wealth. It is absolutely disgusting. It's amazing that so many of you will blindly go forward, won't share this video, don't get this one bit. No matter what a person says, so many of you will sail on by it. It's a joke. It's not real. Oh, you know, and that's where we're going forward. And it's scary. I hope this reaches people. I don't know what else to do, because I'm telling you, Canada is going to double its absolute total debt accumulated in the entire history of Canada in 3 years. 10 times less than that, the United States. They're only doing a couple trillion, and in a population 10 times the size of that, of us, that's about 10 times, or not quite, probably about 9 times. They're only taking on a little over 25% of what we're going to take on under Justin Trudeau. Still very bad, still going to propel USA over their GDP debt ratio, over the 100%, going towards a Japanese system where soon people won't be able to afford to have children. That's the Japanese reality. That's capitalism gone very, very wrong. And for all of you entrepreneurs, small business owners, and all those fighting, working hard, professionals trying to get in your industries, you go look at Japan, underground economy. It's only the few major globalist companies, multinationals, who are really doing anything in Japan. All the little businesses, it's underground, outside of government's visual. That's where Japan is. That's runaway globalism in a wrong capitalism, where the debt to GDP ratio is astronomical. It's so bad that the population can't afford to replace itself. That's what they don't like to tell you. And we're all seeing that. It's only getting harder and harder. And come the next year, the year after that, all the way up to this 2030, you're going to find it impossible to afford to have even one child. It's going to be a major commitment between two people that better not get divorced, and you better focus on you are going to be taking out a massive mortgage to raise that child. A mortgage like a big $500,000 house. That's what a child will cost you by 2030. And you know what the government's answer is to that? Perfect. Ramp on the immigration from all the third world, because they will continue and continue to take worse and worse living conditions, standard of living. There is no getting brought up to a standard of living globally, as the globalists and the severe socialists tell you, whether that's Jason Kenney's side or Rachael Notley's side. There is no difference here. The reality is your value is going down, down, down. And by 2030, at the $170 carbon pricing, that $170 megaton per carbon, when we're at 30 right now, cycling in here January 1st to 50, where you're going to watch how much it changes your energy bills, how much gas goes up at the pumps, how everything changes. All of a sudden you feel the carbon pricing. You feel it. And that's at 50. Imagine it 4 times the amount. And that's at, for Alberta, $32 a barrel of oil today. Almost at a $16 differential, which I predicted a year ago, which is clearly laid out on my timeline, which is materialized here. Very close. We're only $1.12 out. I expect by January 31st it to be at the $16 as predicted. As what you're going to see in April. And as the oil price strengthens, imagine the carbon pricing against right now a $32 barrel oil at $1 at the pumps. Unheard of for that price of a barrel of oil. You go back to 2006, unheard of. But that's what it is today. Imagine what $170 a megaton is going to mean. And let's say a price of barrel oil of even $60, doubling it. Think what a tank of gas is going to cost you then. There won't be any tank of gas. There ain't you going on a holiday with the family. You flying anywhere, 4 people, 2 adults and 2 children. What's that going to be flying to Disneyland from anywhere in Canada? What is it going to be, $6,000? Going on a trip overseas to something like Thailand or some Caribbean trip, Southern American to Central and the islands, or Hawaii. What's that going to be, $12,000, $16,000, 4 people? Tank of gas, $400. But next year they're telling you that's not going to exist anymore. It's going to be electric vehicles, even though 80% of the population won't be able to outfit for electric cars. That's okay. The system, this great reset, in their system, you're going to move even deeper into the cities. You're going to live up and down. Iveson, Nenshi, no, they're doubling those cities. They're building up. There's no more zoning for houses. They want to build up. If you start looking around the ring road just to my city, Edmonton, you start to see all the high-rise complex or mini-plexes, 4 level, 5 levels, all apartment style living, condominium living. That's the future for probably 80% of the population by the time we reach 2030, at the rate we're going. And people don't see it. People don't see it. They're already training your kids. They're already training your children. Anyone under the age of 18, the teenagers, that new generation coming up. For a lot of us, by the time we hit that and post it, 15 years, I'm going to be likely, I'll be so close to retirement it won't be funny. No one's going to be listening to any of the old people. That's what you'll be at that time. That's what you'll be. It's sad. It's disgusting. It's sad that so many people don't see what's going on. How many people will gravitate to absolute fantasy because they can't look at the reality right before you. Rachael Notley borrowed $44 billion in her little 4-year reign of terror. An astronomical amount that nobody could justify in their right mind for 4.3 million people. This guy is more than doubling it. His first year out of the gate, he's likely to be 2.5 times her worst year. And that ain't going away next year. I don't see oil prices coming up. They're staying exactly on the numbers. 2021 is going to be the shit show, maybe even worse than 2020. We already know a lot of people are not getting any kind of loan extensions. Deferrals are at their end. What is Alberta going to be? They haven't stopped immigration. They haven't stopped flights. Justin Trudeau ramped that up. In fact, he increased immigration to make up for what we lost in 2020. Like, it's an absolute must that we replace his immigration numbers, even increase them. Jason Kenney's going to get us 10,000 foreign for rural Alberta. Like, that's going to change the fortunes of rural Alberta. These guys are insane. Our super high unemployment rates, why would you have any immigration at that time? Makes no sense at all. They're bracing you to live with less. That's what they want. They want you to give up your lifestyle, give up your fair wages. He's already taken them away. She cut the primary sector. He cut it even more. Neither one of these individuals made any sense, any real economic sense. And a lot of people are starting to look at this now going, yeah, that doesn't make sense. You can't run a public sector. Now Rachael Notley saying, well, we're going to work with the Fraser Institute. We're going to change our narrative. You're right. We need to work on the primary sector. You're telling that now because you want to win that sliding scale away from Jason Kenney so you can get into power in a majority and just go right back to your primary base, just as this clown did. And both of you have select individuals, not real legislators. They're perfectly okay with the clowns or MLAs today, the yes and no men who collect a paycheck and they just nod. They get a bill before them. They don't know what they're reading. They get a little highlight sheet. Every single one of these useless, lazy losers that work for this guy and used to work for her and still work for her if they're in power, and the ones lying in the weeds, none of them can be bothered to read a 162-page document. That would require going home at night and spending 3 hours of their free time reading a bill before they vote on it the next day, taking notes. None of them do it. They get a little cue card from both Jason Kenney or Rachael Notley. This is the highlights of the item you're reading. It's about this, this, this. Oh, perfect. I vote yes. Except for 95% of the content that you just voted through is absolutely either illegal, makes no economic sense, or absolutely destroys the lives of literally hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of Albertans. And that's what we've been watching going on with zero accountability. Same with federal, between Justin Trudeau, Stephen Harper, going to be O'Toole, or would be Jagmeet Singh if they ever get there. It's going to be the same rinse and repeat because it's all about special interests, generally foreign powers, people who may appear to be Canadian or Albertan, but they're on boards with big companies who 75% of their board are foreign powers. That's the law in Canada and Alberta. Nothing we can do about it. And they're the ones driving the policies. They're the ones who don't really care about what our laws are. Get it done. We'll help you get elected. We'll help fund you. We'll pay your events. We'll do all these things. That's what we're going through. A mass amount of incompetency. Like I said, $44 billion with Rachael Notley. Massive incompetency. No one says tiddly boo. Best thing to do is elect a new hero. The new guy. Who's a scumbag from Ottawa. Grade 12 graduate. Even worse than the last one. And with even a smaller group of wealthy losers who really have no business drafting policy or working within legislative. But they did. And they craft bills that absolutely destroyed you, doubled your debt, ruined your revenue, all this economic yada, yada, yada. None of it worked out. We watched all the companies run away. Tech gone, all the investment, because he can't control Ottawa. He didn't want to have to admit that. He doesn't want to have to admit that he works for O'Toole. He's part of the Privy Council. And it's all about what's best for Upper and Lower Canada. Same thing with Rachael Notley and her international union, public sector that goes all the way to Ottawa too. And they're right there with Justin Trudeau, and she thought she could make a deal and sacrifice the primary sector, sacrifice farmers, sacrifice every hard-working Albertan, because they don't matter. We have agendas. We're going to make all kinds of money. And they literally destroyed your province. As their federal counterparts literally destroyed Canada. And we're going even worse there. And people are just going to go, this is okay, it's acceptable. We'll flip-flop back and forth. We'll find the solution. It's really looking like, as it stands right now, Rachael Notley may in fact win the next election. Can you imagine Fraser Institute with Don Bray jumping over to Rachael Notley? Can you imagine? And they're weighing it out right now. I kid you not. Check out the website for Rachael Notley, where you can go and help be a part of the new draft. Scary times indeed. I hope separatists watch and share this. I hope you all start really looking at the fact we need experts. We need experts from academia in policy, in economics, and in constitutionalism. If you can't go forward with that, if all the groups can't come together and come up with some kind of path on a professional level, it's going to be a shit show. It's going to be one of these two. More of this or radically to the left, because unfortunately, flip-flop, that's what the people do. And reality is, they will look past everything, rhyme, reason, fact. They will push it all to the side and go with, well, who's in the limelight? I don't know, that looks good to me. If you don't give a professional appearance, if you don't have the massive presentation, the charisma, the right people in place, people can gravitate to, not people you've appointed or you've designated yourself, I'm going to be the next of this, instead of willing it to the people and putting those things in place, we're not going anywhere. And likely by 2023, it very well may be too late. We may reach the point, it'll be very close, where Canada has reached that $2.2 trillion load limit. This guy will have us at the end of his reign upwards past an $80 million deficit he accumulated in his term as Premier, promising that all his things were going to make things better, but it doesn't. He killed the revenue. He killed the primary sector. The only way back now is to absolutely get investment. But here we are, end of December, end of the year, and there is absolutely no foreign investment flooding into Alberta. There is no major growth on the rise here. Thanks for tuning in. I hope people share it out. I hope you all enjoy this video. This is reality. It's not about being popular. I don't care what a lot of people say, because the reality is, whether they like it or not, January 6th, it's going to be an I told you so. And it's not because I want to toot my own horn or I think I'm some smarty pants. It's because that's reality, people. And as long as you entertain fiction, you allow this kind of rape, pillage, and plunder. Jason Kenney, Rachael Notley, Justin Trudeau, Aaron O'Toole, Jagmeet Singh, put whatever party you want in, but you have given them a license to rape, pillage, and plunder you. And they are. Americans too. Look at America. And you can say, oh, we're better than them. No, we're not. We're born astronomical amounts more. We may have had a better debt to GDP ratio, but you know what? They own 60% of our debt anyway. They also own World Bank, World Financial, almost most of the financial organs of the UN, largest shareholder. They're not as bad as we are, not even close. And people try to look at that and then compare countries like they're somehow comparable. That's the world power. We're not a world power. We don't get to play the game the same way they do, but our politicians sure sell us out as fast as possible and to the worst countries. So much to go through in the next couple of weeks. I hope you all tune in and share, get these messages out, because it's only going to get more and more hairy as we go forward. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy your night.